Ladies and gentlemen, you heard Sheriff Timberlake speak to you this evening. Sheriff of Clay County spoke to you. And he said that at that meeting, he was convinced that the governor wanted Jesse James killed by Bob Ford. You heard Bob Ford testify that he went to that meeting and left that meeting fully aware that he would get not only $5,000 for killing Jesse James, but a full pardon if he were to be brought to law about it. You've heard that Ford walked in 2 weeks after killing Jesse James and pled guilty to a crime whose only punishment was death. Why would a man whose only option was to die plead guilty to that crime? Because he knew he wouldn't die? Because he knew that a mere 2 hours and 15 minutes later, he would be pardoned? He'd walk out of the courthouse a free man? You've seen the telegrams. Telegrams from companies that were funding the reward money, telegrams from people working with the governor with phrases like dead or alive or no body, no money. There's no doubt that the governor wanted Jesse James gone and that the way the governor wanted Jesse James to go was to have him killed. We did not elect Governor Crittenden to be the cops, to be the judge and the jury of every criminal in the state of Missouri. Unfortunately, there are criminals. But fortunately, we have a justice system to deal with them. We didn't elect him to be the sole person to do that. We elected him to protect us, sure, from people, some say, like Jesse James, but also from violations of our rights. As citizens of Missouri, as citizens of the United States, we have a right to due process. I'm not saying that Jesse James was a great person. I'm not even saying that maybe the state's not a little safer with him not here, but I am saying that it is not right for the governor to pay someone to kill him, to give someone a pardon for shooting him in the back of the head when he's unarmed with his back turned and his wife and children in the next room. Being elected governor doesn't give him the right to trounce our due process. As my co-counsel said, if this man walks free, our due process rights are in the ground with Jesse James. You've heard the evidence. The governor aided, encouraged, and even allowed Bob Ford to infiltrate himself into the James game and kill Jesse James. And under the laws of our state, by aiding, by encouraging, by supporting and letting Bob Ford know that he would be pardoned, the governor is guilty of murder. And we ask that you find him guilty of such. Thank you.
The jury will now be escorted by the bailiff to the jury room for deliberations. And the bailiff, you have copies of the instructions. If you would set them on the table so the jury can begin their deliberations. And we'll take a recess while the jury deliberates.
All rise.
You may be seated. I believe because of the nature of the time restraints, we have a little unusual verdict. So if the defendant will please rise. The verdict as signed by the foreman of the jury says that we, the jury, find the defendant, Thomas Theodore Crittenden, guilty of murder. However, below that signature of the foreperson they have written hung that says that there are a certain number guilty and a certain number not guilty. And so I think under the, in real life, I would send them back, but I'm assuming that they would then be directed to deliberate further and do that. And if their true vote was 7 guilty and 2 not guilty, obviously that would not be a verdict of guilty. So I think the governor would not be going to jail at this time. He might be, your next trial would be when for the retrial?
About a year from now.
So the governor can be relieved of the 2 holdouts.
If you're ever convicted of a crime in the state, give me a holler.
But we thank you for your service.
We're having a little cast party down at the hall for anybody that any of you that want to come. We're going to
adjourned.